Welcome to the presentation on nuclear energy. Alright, so first of all, where is it used? There are 99 nuclear power plants in the United States. Actually, as I was making this video, it was announced that the US's oldest nuclear power plant will be closing this October. So soon, that number will be 98. The majority of these plants are on the east side of the US. These plants range in age from 49 years old to 2 years old. Every red dot on this map is a nuclear power plant. There are 2 in Ohio. Nuclear energy has a high upfront cost of about $4 billion per reactor. For comparison, a coal power plant costs on average $2 billion. Nuclear energy is very cheap long term though, at a cost of about 2.1 cents per kilowatt hour. Nuclear energy creates 20% of the United States energy. It also creates 68% of the United States non-carbon emitting energy. Each year, nuclear energy creates 805 billion kilowatts of electricity in the United States. So, what are some of the positives of nuclear energy? Well, first of all, there's no CO2 emissions. Also, the operating costs are relatively low. And this generates a lot of power, so there's never a shortage at night or when the wind stops. And relatively low pollution for how much energy is being created. So what are some of the negatives of nuclear power? And I'm sure most people already know this, but first of all, radioactive waste. And although considering the amount of energy created, there's not very much, it's still a thing. And there's also high cost to build a nuclear power plant. But the biggest negative, and I'm sure most people already know this, is that although they fail extremely rarely, when they do fail, it's catastrophic to the surrounding environment and people. So banking off that, how safe are they? Well, the Davis-Besse nuclear power plant in northwestern Ohio off the coast of Lake Erie first became operational in 1978. Since then, it's had multiple small failures, some of them as recent as 2015, when a small steam leak occurred. But there have been more serious events, such as in 1998, when an F2 tornado directly hit the plant. The reactor, which was running at the time, automatically went into an emergency shutdown. This just goes to show you how safe nuclear energy is today. So the big question is, how does it all work? Well, first, uranium atoms are split in a process called fission. Now, contrary to popular belief, this is not like a nuclear explosion you'd see in a nuclear bomb. Instead, there is a slow release of energy that generates lots of heat. Water is then pumped into the reactor vessel. The water then heats up and turns into steam. This steam moves out of the reactor and drives a turbine. The turbine drives the generator, which creates electricity. The remaining steam and hot water is moved into the cooling tower. The cooling tower is the iconic concrete tower most people associate with nuclear energy. Here, the water is able to evaporate into the atmosphere.